Good afternoon, Terrence. This is your favorite alien speaking on Thursday, October 17th. Me and my friend Bubba here are taking in the afternoon. He's waiting for his birdies. It's a good fall day in Georgia, about 65 degrees or so. But I wanted to do the video today and called it Saudi Arabia, the elephant in the room. And this affects everybody. Because that's what Saudi Arabia is. It's a big elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge that they made a mistake. Meaning the whole planet. As an alien from another planet, I'm looking at this through your laws, not mine, through yours. And I can't understand or comprehend what the heck you guys are doing. Number one, according to your Convention of Vienna, where you establish protocols for your diplomatic relations, as you call it, you should have complete diplomatic immunity, blanket, as you guys put it, absolute, in embassies or consulates, wherever you establish them. Okay, that said, in this problem here that you got with Saudi Arabia, that you see the American media all over it, and companies from all over the world boycotting Saudi Arabia, for what? You guys created this problem in the first place, not Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is acting the way they've always been since they got united under King Saud back in 1923. And the Americans, you legitimized this under President Roosevelt in the 1940s because you, quote, needed an ally. Like I said in my other video, I don't consider Saudi Arabia an ally. Saudi Arabia is just looking after its own interests. And it's got a point of view that's 180 degrees from most of you guys on this planet. With the exception of maybe North Korea, China, and Russia, which got the point of view similar to Saudi Arabia. But anyway, and here is the problem, Terrence, especially you Americans, politicians, companies, news media especially, CNN, Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, this affects all of you. Especially CNN, it's a pain in the ass. Here's the problem, that you guys not even reporting it. Mr. Khashoggi is a Saudi national who is a dissident, or as my planet would call him, a pain in the ass. And probably Saudi Arabia call him something not nicer than that, but a lot worse. In fact, they wanted his head on a platter. So here's the problem I got. And this is the problem that you Americans have plundered, and other countries in the world have done the same thing. Where's the outrage about China with the head of Interpol? Where's the outrage for that? He did the same thing. He went to China and got arrested. Where's the outrage? I don't see you media, especially CNN, Fox, NBC, CBS, not reporting on that. No, because it's China. And China, you guys have business. I mean, you guys don't want to get kicked out of China, do you? As CBS, NBC, Fox especially? You don't want to kick out of China. So see, what happened to the head of Interpol? Where is he? You dropped the story, didn't you? Well, with Mr. Khashoggi, here's the problem that you have. And it affects planet-wide because you guys have done this numerous times. He is a Saudi national, which you Americans, especially the Washington Post, as a contributing guide, give him a bully pulpit to bash his home country. That's like me going back to Panama after when I was a teenager saying, quote, oh, pineapple face. Can you imagine me going back in the 1980s and going back to Panama and saying, pineapple face? Yeah, right. I would have been dead big time. That's why I didn't go back to Panama until 2001 to visit. And I wanted to visit my grandfather and grandmother. Believe me, those were years that I wanted to do that. But it's the same situation there. Internal affairs. Mr. Khashoggi, after doing all this, wants to get married, so he has to get papers. See, that's the problem that he doesn't understand. And a lot of you people who come from other countries and bash him don't understand. Sooner or later, you have to go back to your home country for something. Because you're not a citizen of the other country. Americans didn't give a national citizenship to Khashoggi. Why would they? He's a pain in the ass. And he was too, Washington Post. You know that. But the problem is that he went back to wanted to marry this Turkish girl. So went to the embassy, the consulate in Istanbul. Well, once he goes into the door, you know that that is territory of the Saudi Arabians. And their laws are paramount there. And he knew that. He knew he was a dead duck as soon as he walked in that door. If he didn't, he was stupid. And how stupid can you get? When you bash somebody, you want to go back into them and say, hello, I need this piece of paper. Come on. And you Western people, you have violated your own codes. That you got to change the Geneva Code that you have on how to deal with diplomatic situations. If you're going to kill somebody, kill them on your own soil, not in somebody else's territory under embassy protection. That is a mistake that Saudi Arabia made and got caught. But what do? You got no precedence for this. What will you Americans do if Snowden goes back in to the American embassy or consulate in Russia and says, I need a document from my birth certificate, or I need a passport? Yeah? You would arrest him, will you? And the Russians, they won't let you go. You got to cross their territory, remember, to get to the airport. So what are you going to do with them? Look at the Israelis. They went after Adolf Eichmann back in 1961. That was a breach of protocol there. Eichmann was as guilty as they came, but he had protection under Argentina. What did you do? You went there and kidnapped them and shanghaied them to Israel to conduct a kangaroo court. That was not a war crimes court. That was a kangaroo court. You should have taken them to The Hague. But you Israelis, you're as guilty as the Saudi Arabians are. And where's the outrage from the Americans and the rest of the world? No, they did a movie on that this year or last year. So see, as an alien speaking here, I don't get you guys. Are you guys two-faced or something? You're violating your own protocols. That is a Saudi Arabia internal matter. And they did it. Sure, they messed up. They should never have killed him at the embassy. They should have held him there and tell him, well, he violated our laws and we want him back in our home country. That's what they should have done. And the Israelis, they should have done the same thing, taken him to the Israeli consulate over there in Argentina. But they knew better than that. They knew Argentina wouldn't allow them to free him, Eichmann. So where is the outrage, Terrence, and especially you Americans and Israelis and Western Europeans, Russians, Chinese? You guys have tromped through this a long time. It's about time that somebody put you on square one on this. Thanks.